Good old Chicago. Welcome to Illinois. There's the Willis Tower. That's where I'm going right now. So this is the ledge. No way, I'm not going on it. No way. No way. I'm scared. It's a psychological problem. So this is Evanston. There's my hotel somewhere over there. So there's the river walk, which I did last summer. I recognize some of it. So this is the Millennium Park. And that's a museum, I think. Hey, this building has a garden on the roof.
Right, I mean all the rest. All the rest, yeah. So because
There's the Willis Tower. Having Japanese for dinner. I got some yakitori and some original Japanese fun drink. Yeah. Yeah, some sushi rolls and caviar. This is my first tempura cheesecake. Good morning, Chicago. So let's start our day with some Vietnamese pho. So last night, I went there, Sushi World. And I'm doing pho. And I think tonight I'm gonna go to the Hong Kong buffet. This is like an Asian food paradise here.
flow out east.
All right. Keep it up.
But you
Nice
know,
work.
like sanitary. So we reverse that.
So
We reverse that. Shout out to 411 Tissue.
this area basically was perceived as having
Sailing again.
potential because of water. Remember, for thousands of years, water was the most efficient means of transportation. But it was originally the London Guarantee and Accident Insurance Company building from 1923, designed by architect Alfred Alschuler, done in a Beaux-Arts style, which originated in France in the early 1800s and largely influenced by ancient Greek. And I started my career there in that building in 1978, working for a radio station called WLS. They're still around. They're an AM talk format today, but for many years, jewelers as major tenants, and they provided a lot of special amenities for those jewelers. One of which was a special elevator that they could drive their car onto at the base of the building and be lifted up to their floor, providing some extra strength or extra security for those jewelers. But now it just goes by its address. Buildings change hands, change ownership, and the names change. It's now just, they didn't like those just simple steel and glass boxes of modern architecture, so they got more creative with interesting shapes and designs, eye-catching tops, sometimes historical decades. So let's stay on the left side, a little further down, just past the next bridge, that stone building that's just past the glass ones with the cutouts in it. That stone building, two-dimensional ornamentation, those black panels there, and a kind of sleek and sharp detailing. Nice Art Deco example there. And we'll see more. So back to the Riverwalk, each section between the bridges often has a different theme. We're just passing what's referred to as the amphitheater. Obviously we've seen cafes and beer gardens. There's a tea. It's curving so much it almost curves right out of our sight, right at the end of the bridge there on the left. It's 333 West Wacker Drive. It's from 1983, so that puts it in that postmodern era, an interesting contemporary style period. Contemporary meaning now, the last couple of decades. Very similar to postmodern that preceded it, with interesting shapes and forms and ornament. But often contemporary style buildings on the right side have trains running underneath them. Not that train up there, that's our L train. L for elevated, they all run above the streets. But our commuter trains and Amtrak trains start back there, run underneath all these buildings, all the way up to River Point, where they come out from underneath and head out to all points beyond. All right, here we are at the confluence where the river splits. We're going to take a right turn, go up the North Branch, and see a lot more residential architecture. Building that seems to go on forever. That was the location of the mail order operation for Montgomery Ward. It was built in 1904. It enters our public streams and rivers. So the water today is much, much cleaner than it ever was. And we're seeing evidence of that. I mean, again, I've said this before, but even in my lifetime, I couldn't have imagined all these kayaks ahead of us. This glass cover light, just on the other side of the bridge and the train tracks there, comes down to what looks to be a Y shape, doesn't it? Well, it's doing that not out of homage to the confluence, but out of necessity. Because that piece of land that it's built on is only 39 feet, or about 12 meters wide. So some of the largest and strongest, and you'll hear that name some more on the tour. So nice Art Deco detailing again. I love the ornamentation above this blank wall. Look at the comedy and tragedy masks. And then in the center, above the masks, above those windows, you've got laurel wreaths, some stringed instruments under the comedy and tragedy mask. Concrete cladding helps it really stand out amongst its neighbors here. So that one from the 1970s. And then the last one in the Gateway Center complex, built in the 1980s, is just past the next bridge on the right. It still continues. Fire started in their barn that night. And it quickly grew out of control with all that wood and that strong wind that night, and it destroyed the whole neighborhood as it roared towards the river. And the hope was that the river would stop it, but unfortunately the fire was much too large and the wind much too strong. 90-something, 120 years later, that the city finally exonerated the O'Leary family descendants for any blame or support. And you can generate more revenue out of a taller building. Well, it's generally regarded that the world's first true skyscraper that at least had a partial steel frame in it was built here in Chicago in 1885, the Home Insurance Company building with 10 stories tall. And I think it's appropriate that the city that's called the birthplace of the skyscraper would for a while have the tallest one of all. This one ahead of us with the two white towers is now called the Willis Tower, for many years the Sears Tower, built in 1974, designed by SOM Architects. And they project out from the side of the building on the sky deck so you can walk out onto them and look straight through glass all the way down to the street, 103 floors below. As long as you're not afraid of heights, that's pretty cool. To occupy the airspace above someone else's property. I want to direct your attention a little further down the river on the left. That red brick building with the white clock face on it. I want you to look at the structure immediately to its right with that steel frame on it. The lower section of the Boeing building is suspended from above with that steel frame on top. Beautiful public plaza. I love the ornamentation on this building. If you look at the clocks and these sections of the building that jut out towards the river, nice motifs under the clock and on either side, and all along the lower section of the building that's set back there. That wonderful Art Deco flat or two-dimensional ornamentation. Originally the Chicago Daily News newspaper. What looks like subway trains run above the street. Some of it is subway, some of it downtown, and a few other locations do go underground. But most of it is elevated, and thus we call it the L. All right, back to the main branch, heading out towards the shoreline. We're going to focus more on people, and built for the Marshall Field Company, another famous retailer here in Chicago for many, many years. Some of us are still upset that it was bought out by Macy's. Square footage, floor space. Those heads on the columns that face it above the river are the Retailer Hall of Fame. So you've got Marshall Field and Montgomery Ward and Julius Rosenwald from the Sears Company and 60 years ago along this river. Well, they were great risk takers and they've created real icons here. Marina City. So there's two residential towers here in the Midwest, but Mr. Goldberg never referred to them as such. He referred to them as his two trees. And the individual curved balconies represented the individual leaves on the trees of Marina City. Just past it on the left, that monolithic steel and glass rectangle, that is Media Company. Built in 1925 and designed by architects Howells and Hood. Now they won an international design competition that was sponsored by the Tribune. The Tribune said, architects, give us your ideas for what we want to be the world's most beautiful office tower. And the winning entry will win $50,000. And this was the winner, complete with that Gothic. And captain of that ship, named Captain George Streeter, had that ship run aground and get stuck on a sandbar offshore right around that area. And for whatever reasons, he just decided, I'm going to quit the shipping business. I'm going to keep quiet for a few minutes and let you enjoy this nice view of my hometown of Chicago. In the city. If you look at near the top of the tallest of the three towers, you see a couple of open floors, and those are simply called blow-through floors. They allow wind to blow through to help reduce wind sway. So another method of achieving that. And Jeannie is a little harder to see in that building that has the wavy balconies up there. That's also architect Jeannie Yang and her first studio Yang, and it's called Aqua from 2009. And all of those balconies, no two of which are alike, are representing individual water, Aqua, and its relationship.
Wow, there's all right. 360 Chicago. That's where I'm going. Cheesecake Factory, baby. Cheesecake heaven. All right, jambalaya, chicken and shrimp. Well, since this is the Cheesecake Factory, time for a little cheesecake. This is called Godiva chocolate cheesecake. I don't deserve this. I don't think I do. But I'm gonna have it anyway. So this is 360 Chicago, not the Willis Tower. That was yesterday. Different tower. So this is the zoo. So there's the freeway to the airport. There's the airport. I'm gonna be there tomorrow. That's Willis Tower. Alright, these guys are doing the tilt. Not for me. Not doing the tilt. Forget it.
Make my video, okay? And then I will make your video edited.
I'm happy without the tilt.
Occupation's got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. The occupation's got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. The occupation's got to go. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Long live Palestine, abolish Zionism. Long live Palestine, abolish Zionism. Long live Palestine, abolish Zionism. Woo! Let all you fascists bow to lose. All you fascists bow to lose. All you fascists bow to lose.
So, it's time to say goodbye to Chicago. And I say goodbye to Chicago. This is my second time visiting this place, and it's been 1 year. And I really enjoyed it again, so until next time. Adios, amigos.
Emmett, come on. Emmett, come on. I know, he doesn't either. Occasionally I'll make one, he's like, I like that joke, that was good. Yeah.
They're all in their little holes sleeping. Let's go.
believe it. We can walk it to cockroaches and see them.
But they had like a whole, remember? Seattle? They had like a whole,
setting. We tend to think of it as less harmful than it is. So if you want to help us protect primates from those harmful situations, one of the best things that you can do is pause before posting. That means if you're ever on social media and maybe you see a picture of a primate being treated as someone's pet, the best thing you can do is ignore that content so that it doesn't spread and normalize those harmful situations. Instead, you can interact with content of primates that are thriving, living in settings where they are wild, or receiving expert care like here at Lincoln Park Zoo, where we have researchers to learn more about them, vet staff to take care of all of their medical needs. This research is a really great example of how the monkeys are thriving here at Lincoln Park Zoo. We are learning more about them, applying that to the way that we take care of them, and of course, it is optional. They get to come in, they get to decide.
So for seals, that is a fish-related reward out of those same buckets that are provided. Fish are the reward today, but also squid and interestingly enough, unseen jello is another reward. You might see it in these green cubes. The seals enjoy that texture, but they can also get some of their baby water from those gelatin cubes.
Oh, that line has like a bear I can say that word. One line has like a bear
For medical.
Yeah, probably give you blood check on or give them vaccines or something. Yeah, it's just beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they can jump up there.
There's that gif of the bear that's waving. And he's like, just going like this. And he's really cute. He's sweet. Turtle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And there's a white-watched stingray. But that one's not like spider. Look, stingray. Oh, wow. other females. Females don't.
All right, it's time to say goodbye to Chicago for good. Let's say, pay my last respects to Lake Michigan. It's been great. Chicago's awesome. Maybe I'll be back someday. I'm flying home tonight. One final meditation time. All right, one last meal before I split, and I got some whitefish and hummus. That's it. Goodbye, Chicago. That's it, guys. I'm leaving Chicago. It's been a great trip. Till next time. Wow, bow. This is my bow. Chinese dumplings. And one Boston cream.
molimo vas da vežete pojas dok sedite, kao i kada je uključen znak za obavezno vezivanje. Ako želite da spavate, molimo vas da vežete pojas tako da bude vidljiv kabinskoj posadi. Podsjećamo vas da budete pažljivi prilikom otvaranja i zatvaranja gornjih polica, kao i odlaganja ručnog prtljaga. Pušenje i korištenje elektronskih cigareta je zabranjeno u svim delovima aviona.